How you doing? My name's David Ankra, and I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts of mine as a friend and business colleague was approached by a magazine to do an advertorial, and they were going to accept a certain thing, but they did something that I think helped their situation overall. So before you accept a magazine's design for your business feature, do what this lady did. And what she did was she asked for some feedback. She asked for some advice and feedback from some colleagues, some friends. I was one of those friends. And she'd actually booked herself onto my business development session. We were going to go through her business plans and also her cash flow, her products, her services, and evaluate what might be the best way forward for her to reach her goals business wise. And this was before we'd even started the session. So she had received the mock up of the page that they were going to do. And this is it here. And I looked at this and I was like, this is nice, isn't it? And I was thinking, okay, it's an advertorial. It's like magazine style. You can see there's three columns and all the rest of it. But what struck me, and I'm wondering if it struck you too, were a couple of things. And that was that there was a lot of real estate on this page being given to this image, this with three faceless faces, which didn't really convey what it was that this young lady was offering. And another thing to me is when we are looking at a magazine or our screens even, our eyes tend to gravitate to the right first, and I feel that's the reason why we have our email list on the left, but the reading pane is often on the right. And I thought, well, the right hand side, there's so much space there, and it's been given to this image, and they've tucked her away in the corner on the left. And yes, it looks nice and magaziney, but I was thinking, maybe this space on the right could be used a little bit more. A couple of other things that I looked at as well was there's a box there on the right at the top. It says three metrics to transform your sales, but it doesn't actually say here's number one, here's number two, here's number three. It does say the one, two, three on the bottom left, but again, it's not really um, something that's you draw your attention to. You draw your attention to the three on the right, but the one, two, three is on the left. Also, her logo, Femprenel, her logo is quite. It's reduced in size. It's not defined. It's not something that stands out as a logo should on the page. If it's an advertorial and want people to find you afterwards, granted the QR code is there, but just looking at it straight, you wouldn't really catch that. Her name is Justine, wonderful young lady. That her business is called Fempreneur. And the paragraphs, maybe I thought they could be broken up a little, but all of that there is by the by. I just felt that this page could be a little better. And to that extent, I was going to reply to her with, all the pointers and everything. But me being me, I decided to jump onto, I think I used Canva on this instance, and create something that could possibly be used in place of this as an idea, as something for her to consider. And so I did this. And granted, I went from three columns to two columns, but I felt it had a little bit more readability. The paragraphs are now broken up a bit more. There's a featured comment, which is sales as a process, not personality trait, just as almost like a snapshot takeaway. Now you notice on the right hand side, we've got her nice and featured. She's, it's you know who you're dealing with. Femprenel, that's the name of the company. You can see that clearly now, and a little snap quote there from her: "If your revenue feels like a roller coaster, it's not because you need more leads; it's because you need a better sales system." And you got her name there, nice and quote. Her smiling, all nice. What is it? It's the Femprenel sales system that works, and it's shiny. So I felt that was a little clearer. And then the box that had the three metrics, I brought that down to the bottom and clearly labeled it one, two, and three. So again, something that you can draw your eyes to, and there's a quick takeaway when you're flicking through. And of course, the pound sign there in the middle signifying increased turnover if you work with Justine and Femprenel. So I felt this was a little bit clearer. Um, I felt it showcased her more, showcased the business a bit more, and you could, skim and still get a gist of what's happening. If we go back and compare it to this one, um, yes, granted the font size has changed and things like that, but I feel as though it stands out a bit more. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. How do you feel? Do you think that it's better as this, or do you feel that this is better? Which one would you go for? And again, I'm not a designer. It's just something that I like to do sometimes when I want to get a idea across. So did that, and I said to her also that notice how everything is in the top left on the right hand page. On the right hand page, everything to do with the company is in the top left. When I actually checked the examples from a previous publication, just about all of them had the QR code down in the bottom right, and the logo was underneath the QR code, quite bold, quite distinctive. So I'm thinking, why has this happened on her one? I'm talking about I went through page after page after page after page and noticed that the format seemed to be quite uniform. It was, again, pretty decent pictures, but then in the bottom right, you would see the QR code, contact details, and the logo pretty prominent. And it's just a bit like, ugh, why are they trying to do our Justine like that? Hmm? So, I suggested that maybe she could send this to them and they could print it as is because, she's paying the money to have an advertorial. Um, they came back and said, oh, it's slightly different from our advertorial style, it's slightly different from our printing style. But what our designer has done is taken inspiration from this and created the following, which is this. And I think this is a marked improvement over the previous one that they originally did. We do have the box now with the one, two, and three, albeit not necessarily in a row, but at least there is a one, two, three. And, there she is, nice and prominent, very confident stance. We've got the quote from her. You know who she is. We can see that at the bottom now they've got the logo, albeit they didn't enlarge the font size that much, but at least it's separate and you can really distinctively see it. And yeah, I feel that this is a lot better than the version that they originally submitted. We can go back to it real quick just to show you the difference. So yeah, this was again before we had our business development session, and if this is something that you are experiencing in terms of you're trying to decide what to use for your marketing materials, or you're looking at your business model and ways to do things, I'm happy to have a conversation and we may book you in for a session going forward. So Hope you enjoy and take care.